This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey, welcome back to Party Loaded. My name is Luke. It is Wednesday evening, the 14th of December. Sitting here getting ready for the Christmas period, getting festive, getting a bit jolly, and like to do that with a few friends. So tonight we have Ollie. Hello.
Hello.
We have Mimo, aka Imogen. Hello. I'm not going to introduce you by two names again because that's far too much work. And we got
so many syllables.
No, it's huge. Speaking of too much work, hey Jam.
Hey. Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Hi. Hey.
Mate.
Hey, mate.
We're like Bogan Fonzes.
We're starting down with doubling down on the down under again, guys.
That's it.
No, that's not the Fonz at all.
Well,
that's
Luke missed
something
out
else
last week.
entirely.
So, speaking of which, thank you, guys. You did a great job last week while I was away. Thank you very much for making sure that everything just didn't burn down around us. That was
Did
awesome.
you see the feedback we got? Oh my god, best episode ever.
So good.
No, I've had a bit of a rough week for anyone who missed the last episode. So I've sort of spent a little bit of time in hospital. Got a bit of a zombie leg at the moment, which has kept me hard up. But it has benefited in the amount of time available to play video games. So that's at least one positive I can get out of that.
Luke really wanted to get onto The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I did. Hey, like if I auditioned right now, like one part of me would definitely get a role. The rest of me, probably not so much. But I don't know. We'll see.
Partial credit
head.
for leg in scene 4.
Yeah, that's it. Just hang it out. Just drop it off. They'd probably want to remove it from the audition, though. And that's not going to happen. So anyway, Walking Dead, not so festive. More festy. Let's talk festive. So we got an awesome episode ahead tonight. Lots of stuff to talk about. We've got a stack of Final Fantasy, got a stack of Hearthstone, and then after the first hour, we'll get into some other stuff. So, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, all right.
Good.
Games this week. Who's been playing what? Let's kick off with some stuff other than the things I just mentioned because that'll probably take a little bit of time. Anyway, Ollie, what have you been playing?
I actually played some Dishonored 2. It was great.
Nice.
Woo.
How close are you
So I
actually?
think I'm about halfway through now.
Oh wow, this game's actually giving you some mileage, isn't it?
No, I just been really lazy in getting around to it because it's sad reasons.
Right.
Not sad reasons. But no, I've just been very lazy for a game that I've been super excited about to the point because I don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that I will go to every corner of every map and read every book.
Is there a lot of lore?
It is
sort of
actually the
stuck in
only
the
game where I do that.
Like, do you...
Oh, shit, yes.
Yeah?
There is literally, I was going to say hundreds, but I'd say dozens. There's dozens of lore books and then hundreds of notes of little bits and pieces around the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
This is my only game where I try to, like, find everything.
do you
The
actually
only game.
do you actually track achievements for finding those items, or is it just a pure sort of pleasure thing?
For the notes and stuff, not really, no. But for the other bits and pieces, yeah, like finding every rune, finding every bone charm, that sort of thing, yeah. Finding every shrine, stuff like that, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because that's actually tracked by the game.
It's not like Tomb Raider or anything like where you actually do get some in-game items that you can use as an advantage sort of mechanically, or is it just purely
Oh, yes.
fun stuff? Oh,
yeah.
you do?
For all those
okay.
bits and pieces, yeah, you definitely do. For the books and lore stuff, not so much, but they're usually around cool stuff, so... Yeah.
Well, Jam and I played some Portal yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Some co-op Portal. So
We did.
We had a good time. Jam was definitely Miss Bossy Boots, though. It was quite fun.
Well, I mean, it's what I do.
No,
Also,
but-
she's played it.
yeah, well, and that's exactly
yeah,
right.
but it was a while ago.
And most of the time I let her get away with it because she actually was right. So it's fine. there was one moment where this wasn't the case, but there were definitely several moments where I was just like, no, Jam, you stupid. That's not the solution. Let's do... Oh, hang on. No, okay, you're right.
That's why her portal was there and mine wasn't.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
No, that was really good fun. We didn't get very far, though. We've got to... When we get to the difficult ones, we're going to be cussing and not talking. And I'll just be passive-aggressively hitting that little blip button that tells you where I want you to put things. Just like, blah, 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 blah. There. Put it there. Now.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a game in multiplayer that really does benefit from having a good handle on the new controls for that setup, because like one in particular, which was the camera eye view of your partner, was really super important as we got into some of those trickier puzzles. So tabbing that and actually being able to see what you could see as opposed to just guessing or waiting for your marker made a massive difference.
And having even though we had audio, having the countdown timer to make sure that we were hitting buttons at the right time and that sort of thing. It's really good. Yeah. But it's just so cute and fun. Luke wasn't happy though until he was Atlas and I was Peabody, because he reckons Peabody is more feminine.
God.
We had a whole discussion about it. You can watch it later.
You had a whole discussion. I was just like, what?
No, it was funny.
It's hilarious. It's such
Very
a good game
illuminating.
and so
Very
funny.
illuminating.
GLaDOS is the best.
Yeah, no, she's cool.
She was whispering secret messages to me about how bad Luke was.
When you actually do the have you actually tried to make any of the custom maps before, Jam, like using the creation tools?
No.
Is that something? No. Okay. I played a couple of the community creation maps on single player before we started, and some of those were super interesting. Like the ideas people can come up with, I would imagine it's not that different to what, Ollie, you'd experience in Mario Maker, like people just coming up with ridiculous ways to break the game that still work. So, yeah.
I imagine it's incredibly similar.
I might actually have to hunt around online
it.
and see if there's any sort of custom done levels by name that are quite famous that people would recommend, rather than just sort of taking random picks. There's got to be some really good ones out there. So,
I 100% imagine there would be.
All right, so I want to talk about Final Fantasy for a few minutes, and I'll keep it relatively brief. But I think, I don't know, there's some stuff in here you guys might be interested in anyway, because it is a very interesting game. So, Final Fantasy I've put probably a good 20 hours into now. And
wow,
my impression
So you finished the tutorial, in other words?
No, actually, it's funny. Like someone mentioned to me, don't bother with the tutorial because it literally just does focus on the combat mechanics more than anything. And they sort of said, you don't really need to do it because the game will teach you those things quick enough as you go through it. And I kind of tend to agree, but the tutorial was fun nonetheless. It did sort of show you a few bits and pieces, a few tricks you can do, which were interesting. The combat's definitely the standout feature in the game, though. Like it's the weird thing that makes it different to a lot of the other Final Fantasies I've played. So, the old school retro ones up to about 9 or 10, where you do the turn-based combat sequencing where you're sort of picking actions and cycling through your characters and waiting for the enemy to do their thing. That's all gone. It's all real-time sort of team-based stuff now. And the comparison I'd make is that the combat system is very similar to the Dragon Age Inquisition one. Ooh. So probably a bit of that mixed with a bit of the Batman Arkham brawling, to be fair, because some of the fight mechanics are a little similar to that too, with the combos and stuff. So... But you only control one of the 4 characters in your group. So your team basically consists of Prince Noctis, who's the main character of the game, and his 3 buddies, which are Ignis, who's kind of like his butler. You've got Prompto, who's the annoying little social media dweeb, is basically what I'm going to call him, because he spends more time taking photos of the fights than actually fighting himself. And you've got Gladius, who's kind of like the big heavy dude who, uses the big claymores and stuff like that. So they've all got their roles in the fight, and they all act independently of you. So you just control Noctis. The others sort of do their own thing, but you can sort of fill up like a ability bar for each of the other characters and get them to use like a special attack during the fight. And when they do that, you can combo off it. So it's pretty cool. So, but yeah, you sort of jump around and it's a really mobile kind of fight. Like it's almost like when we did the Horizon Zero Dawn demo at PAX, how there was a lot of those mechanics around the weak spots on the mechanoids and things that we were fighting. Sort of like getting around behind them and hitting the vulnerable areas and that sort of stuff. Same thing here. Like you can actually hit different locations on a lot of the beasties that you're fighting, and getting around behind and flanking them with different types of weapons really does make a difference. And it's very instantly visual. So when you're hitting them with a weapon that does like increased damage, it'll be like orange. But if you're hitting them with a weapon that's doing reduced damage, it's probably going to show up red or something like that. So you can switch weapons sort of immediately in the fight and muck around like that. So, but yeah, it's great. It is a lot more open world, sort of roaming around, sort of 3D environment than any of the other Final Fantasy games so far. It's still got all of the same sort of hallmarks. It's got chocobos. You can race chocobos around in the countryside. It's a really quick means of travel. It's got all of the Japanese anime influences of a good JRPG. And all that sort of stuff. The storyline is weird as hell. It's very Final Fantasy. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoy it. And I think, Ollie, you probably actually really enjoy this one too from what I've seen so far. I think it would be the sort of thing that I'd expect to be right up your alley. So,
Well, I did enjoy the movie, so the prequel movie.
yeah, I actually have not seen the prequel movie yet, and I probably should because a lot of people have
Would
mentioned to me it's
recommend.
kind of important to the story. And that seems a bit insane to me that you need to have a sort of prequel movie to fill in some of the critical story parts when you really should just have that stuff in the game. So, I don't know. That's a bit of a weird one.
It's worth watching for the graphics alone. Put it that way.
That would be fair, yeah. The other really cool thing is the car. Like, you know how this thing's sort of, floated as a bit of a, a boy band road trip kind of situation where you've got like a posh car that you drive around the whole place in and all that sort of thing. That car, as it turns out, is probably one of the best parts of the game because what it does is it cuts down on all of the ridiculous traveling between major areas and actually makes it enjoyable. So you can actually pick up soundtracks of previous Final Fantasy games on discs at different locations. They're kind of like collectible items. And then you can just roam around in the car listening to those soundtracks and sort of just cruising. And you can pull over anywhere and find stuff by the side of the road, or you can fast travel. It's totally up to you. But I'm actually not fast traveling. I'm actually driving around most of the way because it's actually just interesting. It's relaxing. It's kind of cool just to do that and admire the countryside, sort of, spewing past as you ride forth. And the graphics are really nice. So it's not something that's a wasted effort, so that's cool. So far I would recommend Final Fantasy. Very, very cool. Love the combat in particular. I think it's a very, very cool game because of that. Keeps things very interesting. So we'll see how the
Sounds
story
like I might be
pans
picking
out.
it up.
Yeah.
Once I have a PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Well, I am playing it on Xbox One, so you can get it on that too if you want, Jam.
Oh,
So-
I did not even realise. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I might get back into Final Fantasy then. I lost interest after 13. 13 was a bit too bizarre.
Yeah, there's a
So
few
this
that
one
I've
sounds
missed.
a bit more up my alley.
Yeah. I think so. It's a very different game to the last few, from what I understand. So, it's one of those things. I mean, Final Fantasy games are all often quite different, but a few of them sort of share similar characteristics. This seems like the first of a new generation almost. So, yeah.
Cool.
I've actually been streaming it to my laptop while I've been unwell because sort of sitting for prolonged periods without my leg up's been kind of difficult. So, chuck it on my laptop. I'm streaming via Xbox One, which is another room in the house, just through the Xbox app on Windows 10. And that's actually been okay. Like, obviously, the graphics on a laptop screen aren't quite as nice as on a full sort of, blown monitor. But the latency's been reasonably good. It plays fine. Just, plug a Xbox controller into the laptop and off you go. So it's actually been kind of cool. So there you go. Yeah.
Awesome.
And the other thing that I've sort of spent a bit of time on this week is getting my head around the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan expansion for Hearthstone. So don't really need to talk too much about it. It's not quite as unbalanced as I feared it might be. I think that it's actually worked out to be quite good. Almost every class is viable, which is usually a sign that they've done something right. And not made one of them a standout sort of runaway in the new meta that sort of creates around the game. There is one card that is completely hilarious that I wanted to mention to you guys because I think you probably appreciate this. So there's a little new pirate card called Patches the Pirate. It's a legendary card. He's a 1/1 creature, and basically he is a creature that I don't recognize in Warcraft, but he basically looks like a beholder from D&D, dressed as a pirate. So imagine a beholder, like as a giant cluster of eyes, dressed as a pirate. This thing's got a whole bunch of eye patches all over it, and it's got like one eye showing.
Oh, gosh.
It's hilarious, yeah.
Oh, dear.
But the reason why this card is so cool is because it's weak as hell. It's only a 1/1 with charge. But the way it works is that it actually lives in your deck, and when you play any other pirate in the game in your deck onto the field, he gets fired out of your deck from a cannon. There's a cannon animation that literally fires him onto the field, and he gets summoned instantly from your deck with no cost. So he just runs into the enemy like kamikaze style, like that. It's hilarious. So yeah, really enjoy it. But probably the big thing with me Hearthstoning this week that is non-expansion related, which is quite interesting, is I've actually started using a deck tracker for the first time. So there's some software that a lot of the popular Hearthstone streamers use to actually track the cards that are being used in their deck and actually display it on screen while they're playing. It's the first time I've actually used anything like that, and I was a little dubious at first as to whether it would be something that should be used or not in terms of providing an advantage that shouldn't be allowed. But I did some looking into it, and the Hearthstone devs have been pretty clear about that sort of thing being okay because it doesn't actually give you any more information than what's already available in the game. It just sort of makes it easier and more visual. And they seem quite popular, so I gave it a go, and it's actually been really handy because one of the things it does is it tracks your game results, so you can see which decks you're winning with and what you're trending like on different sort of types of combinations. So that's been really helpful for improving play. So yeah, would recommend if anyone wants to check that out. Go to Hearthstone Deck Tracker, or hsdecktracker.com, I think is the address. I'll chuck a link up in the show notes. It's worth checking out. Very handy little tool. So there you go. Yeah. Anything else, guys? What else have we been playing? We did a little bit of Armello this week. Surprise shock of the century. Jam pulled out a win from absolutely nowhere that she probably...
Wasn't from nowhere. You just didn't understand my strategy, man.
Your strategy was a Stephen Bradbury sort of strategy.
Nah, mate. I was playing you all off against
You
each
can
other.
only Stephen
and
Bradbury it because you made a massive boo-boo right towards the end and just wandered casually into a stone circle as a corrupted creature.
That was a big goof.
Instant death.
That was
that was
Really
hilarious.
entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't
If
think it
you're
made a
corrupted and
difference,
you
but it
walk
was
into
pretty funny. Yeah. No, it was cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway.
It was a good game. Solid game.
Yeah.
We've also been playing a ton of Minecraft.
I was going to
yes.
say, we did skip over
I
that.
did skip
and
over that.
it's been quite
My
large.
apologies.
Yeah.
Jump in, Jamie. What's been going
How
on in
dare
Minecraft?
you? So, we have been scouring the map for a village with a cartographer because we wanted the maps to the Woodland Mansion. We finally got it today. And we set out northeast from Spawn Point. And we walked and we boated and we walked and we ran and we walked and we... I looked it up eventually and it said, can spawn tens of thousands of blocks from spawn. So, oh my gosh. About ready to give up. Suddenly, essentially what you get is a little square map that looks different to ordinary maps. And you can see your blip just sitting in a corner of it, meaning you're not close. Suddenly, my blip started moving vertically up the edge of the map. And I went, oh my God. Because I was about ready to give up. So then we turned due east and walked... so many thousands of blocks and we still haven't found it, but it's been entertaining. We found a polar bear. We found a wild polar bear for the first time.
Yeah.
We found
so we had
ice
to spawn it
spires.
last time.
We found ice spires just after you logged off, Imogen. So cool.
It was too much. We ran a really long distance and we worked really hard to get this map. Really hard. Like we protected a whole village and hung out with this cartographer and everything. And just for that to be so very far away. I was also disappointed that we paid for the Ocean Explorers map and that just showed us an underwater temple, which we seem to stumble across on a regular basis. So
yeah, we'd
that's
already found a
lessons
few
learned.
of those.
Won't be doing that.
So we're about 20,000 blocks from spawn. And we still haven't encountered this woodland mansion, but it's going to be hilarious when we get there and we just die straight away from the enemies.
It's going to be horrific. We're going to need a bigger group to do it.
Yeah.
We have to be next week sometime, I think.
And Luke got to see the llamas today.
I did. I was impressed. They were very
How
cool.
amazing are they? Oh, they're so adorable.
Yeah,
Check out Hipster Llama.
The llama
Favourite.
train sort of thing that you guys described that I hadn't seen yet, where you can sort of leash one and get the rest to follow. That was actually really impressive. I could see that being extremely useful. So yeah, with a cargo
It's
train.
great.
They're a lot more obedient when they do that than just about every other creature in the game, I noticed.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And I found some
Hopefully the
Mesa.
leads are a bit more responsible, although...
They're pretty good now. They're a bit stronger. I found a Mesa and accidentally, because it was nighttime, saw a little light in the water, swam down and found an end portal.
Oh,
So it's been eventful
that's a thing.
on
Yeah.
this new realm. I love Minecraft.
It certainly
Hard
is
Minecraft, so
the
hard.
love you can get back to without even blinking. I wasted a whole day in
Yep.
that game today and don't feel like I actually wasted the day. It was just, fun and relaxing.
So entertaining.
Yeah.
So much crafting and mining.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. All right. Well, anyway, kicking into the rest of the small amount of news that we've got this week proper, there is a little bit of an update for Final Fantasy 15, which is a very, very weird one. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this one, actually. So Final Fantasy 15's actually got an update that's coming out post-launch, which is going to add additional cutscenes and story content and fix one of its reportedly worst chapters, which is chapter 13, I believe. Now, I haven't gotten deep enough into the game to actually know contextually specifically what they're talking about, but apparently it's a lengthy portion of the game that's been criticised for not having enough explanation as to what's going on, and they're going to be adding more content to it. But it's going to take them a little while because they need to record new VO, they need to get all of the animations done and that sort of thing. But they're releasing this post-game launch, so in theory, anyone who's actually finished the game already is probably going to be shit out of luck because they're going to have already bypassed this content. So This reminds me a little bit of when they released the alternate ending for Mass Effect 3. You remember when that happened? There was a huge hoo-ha around, people having already finished the game, and it's a bit of a shit thing for them because they can't see it without going back and restarting it or going from an earlier save point if they happen to have one and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you guys think about patching in core content like this post-release? Is it something that you would welcome if it improves the game, or is it? Yeah.
It depends if it's something that was planned prior to launch or if it's in feedback to issues identified post-launch. Because the Mass Effect thing, I thought it was fine. You end up having a save point before the final sequence of events, no matter what. So people who have finished the game can rather easily get back to it. And it improved on the story, and it was good fun. The Citadel DLC made it even better. Oh my god, best DLC ever. For Final Fantasy, I guess yeah, if it's free and they've been working on it since launch because of people's complaints, yeah, but if it's something they wanted to do, starting months before launch and they hadn't got around to it yet, that's when it gets a bit sus.
Yeah. Puts me in an interesting position as a player because if I get up to chapter 13 and this hasn't dropped yet, I don't know if I actually want to keep playing until it does. So
yeah, that's curious.
I would wait.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of, sorry to sidetrack slightly, the Dark Souls 3 DLC, Ashes of Arandil. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that. Where if you finish the game, you can't play it because the game starts again.
Yeah.
And so you have to go back to an old save to be able to play it to get to the thing where you can actually play it. So I had to go back to an old save in order to play it.
Wow.
Which is not a big
Tricky.
deal. It's not a big deal because it was DLC, but yeah, it was annoying.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, hopefully it doesn't take them too long to get this out because I kind of would like to finish this game in the next few weeks and, close out the year with having finished this one in preparation for some of the big stuff I want to sink time into next year, but we'll see. We will see.
It does suck
Good
if
luck.
you finish the game already. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, it's one of those games that, once you actually finish the core story, I think there's quite a bit to do in the game world because there's a lot of really, ridiculous expert level bosses you can roam around and fight. There's one boss fight that apparently takes upwards of, multiple hours to actually battle. Someone's finished it in just over an hour, I think, but it was reportedly like a 3+ hour boss fight when it was added to the game or something like that. And that kind of stuff is really cool, and I will enjoy that. But I think that if you get to that point, you've still gone past the point where you can retrofit the story. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so other news relating to stuff we've been playing lately. The Overwatch Winter Wonderland event actually kicked off today. So no prizes for guessing what we're going to do when we finish the show.
Yeah, are we done?
Yeah. When can we play?
We are not done.
See you guys.
Yeah. Ollie, do you have the list of Jingle Bell goodies? What's being added?
I do indeed. So they've done a new snowball fight brawl. So they've done a seasonal brawl like they have done with their previous events. They've retextured some of the maps. So Kings Row, Hanamura all got Christmas themes, and I think Volskaya as well. I could be wrong on that.
Yay!
But there's definitely 2 that got Christmas lights and snow and stuff like that. And then there's a whole bunch of Christmas skins and emotes and voice lines, all that sort of seasonal things. So you have your winter loot boxes that you can use to get over 100 new cosmetic trimmings, according to the official wording. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm a fan. I haven't played the Brawl yet, so I can't comment if it's good or bad or anything like that. But for me, by far, the biggest winner so far has been Winston's Yeti/Snowman skin.
For sure.
By
It
a
is
very
awesome.
large margin.
The Brawl sounds really fun. So there's a few new mechanics they've introduced into it, which I'm looking forward to testing out. So it's a 6-player single elimination brawl, and everyone plays as Mei. So you only play as Mei. You've got the same kit out, same weapons, everything. But Mei's frost gun has been changed into a snowball launcher with a really slow rate of fire. And the snowballs are basically one-hit kills. So if you hit someone with the snowball, they're out. You tag them, they're gone. But
Just a right click.
yeah. Her ultimate, though, has been changed. And if she ultimates, her single slow shot snowball launcher turns into a rapid fire snowball launcher. But the catch is that she runs out of ammo during the game, so you actually have to refill it by finding piles of snow on the map and actually refilling your ammo. That sounds kind of cool to me. You can still use her other abilities like her ice wall and her icing up herself to protect from incoming fire and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a super full-on snowball fight, and I think it's on the Antarctica map, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's a maze map.
Yeah, yep. And they are offering a loot box reward for people who play it this week, I believe. So that other little incentive, not a bad thing to get one of the loot boxes for free.
I just don't think you need that incentive. I think people are going to want to try it out at least anyway.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the incentive is probably for winning one of the matches, so maybe that makes it slightly more difficult for people. But yeah, no, we'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I guess if you're at a higher level as well, you're less likely to get level-based loot boxes and those types of things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was kind of hoping for
Way to
another
go.
versus
Very
AI
excited.
mission, but I guess they're probably going to save those for some of the bigger seasonal event launches. What I'm super curious about is, like, now that we've had Halloween and Christmas, or, you know, Overwatch Christmas equivalent, is whether when we come to Halloween and Christmas again next year, whether we're going to be able to get these skins again, or whether it's going to be a completely new set, or both.
I hope you can get the ones that you've missed, so they keep it, and then they just expand on it.
Yeah, that's what I hope as well. That would be
I
cool.
have a feeling they're not going to do that, but that's what I want them to do.
Or there'll be a brawl of some description or some other way that you can get seasonal loot boxes. I don't know.
Yeah, that would
See,
That
it's
would
different
not
because
surprise
Heroes of the Storm limited edition skins, etc., are limited edition skins, and that's it. They're there for the season, so it could be the same as that.
Well, they have,
and then they go away.
They have been clever about their wording, and they've never actually said that never to return is a thing. Like, they've sort of said limited time before it goes back in the vault, but they haven't said, you know, whether it can come out of the vault again at some point in the future. So
I would not be surprised if come their anniversary for the game, they do a brawl event which lets you get those skins.
that would be good.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, super cool.
I would not be surprised.
Or you can purchase these 50 loot boxes for whatever, and you can choose the festive ones or something.
Yeah.
They'll make it.
Or be
maybe it'll
like,
be a
when
money
you
spinner.
purchase 30 loot boxes, 10 are normal, 10 are Halloween, 10 are Christmas, so on, so on.
Yeah.
Intervale. Yeah.
It sounds almost like something like that a company that enjoys having money would do, possibly.
Madness.
Yeah.
Mad.
Insane.
Yeah. So speaking of Christmas themed stuff, you guys remember a little movie from when we were much, much younger by the name of Home Alone? So with
Nah.
young Macaulay Culkin playing Kevin McAllister, who was the master of booby trap madness, sort of setting up his house to do all sorts of unspeakable things to the Wet Bandits. So those two guys, the Wet Bandits, are Joe Pesci, and I can never remember the name of the other dude.
The other guy. Done.
Jeffrey something Daniels? No, it's not Jeff Daniels. That's a different guy. Oh, anyway, I've lost it. So those two guys, everyone should know who they are. It's a super famous movie. So the Wet Bandits later become the Sticky Bandits in Home Alone 2. I already know too much Home Alone lore. Let's just leave that where it is. So those guys
That's weird.
are actually the new elusive targets in a special Christmas-themed Hitman elusive target mission. And I think that is one of the coolest things I've seen that game do so far. That is awesome. So you can actually take out those two numbskulls as part of that mission. Now, I haven't seen the details of this thing yet, but given that Hitman is a game with a penchant for all sorts of creative ways of killing your target, I'm really hoping there's a whole bunch of household-style booby traps you can set up to kill these dudes. That would be ultra awesome. So,
Hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
be super good. Hitman, Ollie, over Christmas, man, you gotta check that game out. It is so good.
I will.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of time.
Sweet. All right. Well, speaking of plenty of time, we don't have too much time before the big next Nintendo Switch reveal. So we've had confirmation this week, in fact, that they are planning the next big Nintendo Switch presentation on the 12th of January, which will be starting at about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US Eastern Standard Time. So they're going to be delivering a bunch more details about the hardware, sort of the different features of the console, and basically how it's going to work as the portable side of things, and the sort of, you know, home plug-in side of things. There's going to be some basics that we haven't seen yet that they're going to go through. One of the ones that I think a lot of people are still wondering about is whether it's touchscreen or not. They actually did a bit of a demo of the Switch on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon the other night, and it seemed like something they were very careful to avoid showing, even though they could have quite easily shown whether that was a feature or not. So they're keeping everybody waiting for the big reveal. But the other interesting thing in Switch news this last week is that apparently Nintendo Switch is actually going to bring GameCube games back to a virtual console that you can play on the platform. That is super cool. Can you guys remember any cool GameCube games that you would fire up again and have a go at? I can remember one.
Mario Kart
instantly.
Double Dash.
Oh, that'd be a good
Double
one.
Dash. I was
Yeah.
going to say. Yeah.
I would play me some Time Splitters too. That game was awesome. Super awesome. Was
I've never
GoldenEye
played that.
GameCube, or is that a different platform?
That was 64.
That was 64, yeah.
Nintendo 64.
Whoopsies.
Yep.
Wow.
There's a lot of Nintendo platforms I did not own. So, yeah. But some good GameCube games. I mean, I think we could probably look at a list and go, oh, yeah, I forgot that was on GameCube. Be a bunch that they'll bring to the Virtual Console. Whether they'll bring all of them, who knows? Time will tell. But that's good news anyway. Backwards compatibility, always a good thing, in my opinion. So, all right. Not much news this week. That kind of wraps up that part, and we'll move on to tonight's main topic, or the next 2 weeks' main topic, essentially. So, heading up to the end of the year, we've decided to do a bit of a rundown and look back at some of the cool things that have happened this year. Now, there's a lot of other sites and sort of, the Game Awards are a good example of this, that like to celebrate the best ofs in lots of different categories throughout the year. So, which games have been the best in their field when it comes to the art and the design and the game companies behind them and all that sort of stuff. But because we don't play games for a living, we just do it, a lot of it for fun, and because we're all subjective as fuck, and because none of us have played everything, we're going to do it in a slightly different style, and that is that we're going to do the 2016 party favourites, meaning that we're going to pick our favourites, and they are going to be uniquely personal to us, and as to why we think they are the best in any particular one of the categories that we're going to go through. So we have 8 categories which we are going to cover tonight. We're going to talk through our favourite new character for the year. We're going to chat about our favourite game moment or sequence, and that could be something that's happened in a game individually or just in the industry as a whole, a moment this year. We're going to chat through our favourite visuals for the year. We're going to chat through our favourite audio. And then next week, we're going to jump into our favourite game mechanical feature, our biggest surprise of the year, our party game of the month of the year. So basically the way that works is all of the party games that we've done as our party game of the month for the last year. We're going to pick our favourite out of that list. And then finally, our favourite game of the year. So, team, are you ready?
No.
Kinda.
Okay.
I still have doubts.
As ever.
Right. We got a bunch of cool stuff that we've played this year. Like, if we were to sum up 2016 in general, it would be a fairly average year in a lot of ways. But in terms of video games, I think it's been a really, really good year. So,
Yeah, video games have been solid.
yeah.
The rest of it can
solid.
get screwed.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, what's up first? Mimo, take it away.
All right, so our first category is going to be favorite new character. So a character that was in a game that was released this year, or maybe a character in a series or ongoing that was released this year. Mm-hmm. So an example of a couple of those would be Sam Drake from Uncharted 4, JD Phoenix from Gears of War 4, and even maybe the llamas from Minecraft. Which were released this year.
Llamas.
So, Luke, did you want to kick us off? What was your favourite new character?
Sure. My favourite new character was almost all of the Overwatch characters, because there's a whole bunch of them that are really, really easy to like a whole bunch. So, but in the end, I actually settled for one that came out of left field and is actually played by a voiceover actor that I'm particularly fond of, and that is actually Henry from Firewatch. So, who's voiced by Rich Sommer. So Rich Sommer is fairly well known as being one of the stars of the TV series Mad Men, and he's also got his own podcast in the board games world called Cardboard. So he's becoming quite well known for being a bit of a gamer, and he did the VO for Firewatch, and I think he did such an amazing job that character was just fleshed out with all of the conversational dialogue choices in that game. It really made you sort of picture him, even though you never get to see his face in the game. You can completely sort of picture him in your head, and it really sort of engrosses you in what you're doing. And I think he did a fantastic job. Not to be overshadowed too much by the VO from Delilah, who's the other main character of the game, because I think they did a fantastic job with her as well. But Henry just has a bit more of the spotlight, and he was definitely my number one pick for favourite new character of the year. So that's me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Jam?
Well, so I haven't played a lot of story-driven content this year to completion. So the character that popped into my head for this topic was Diva from Overwatch. I have just fallen in love with playing her and her quirks and her whole gremlin persona that's been built up over time in the social media stuffs. It's just, she's such good fun to play. Yeah. And she's my go-to whenever I pick that up.
Any character that's so popular with the fans that they can actually get the devs to add new emotes to support the stuff that they've created for her, I think is a pretty good contender. Yeah.
I know, it's pretty massive. So yeah, that's my pick.
You're going to have to cosplay her at some point, Jam.
Yes. That won't look strange at all.
How about you, Oliver?
Ooh, for me, mine is also an Overwatch character. Not because there hasn't been any good characters in like the Firewatch characters for me for 2016 were pretty close, but I really like Bastion from Overwatch. Shocking twist. I do have like 60 hours on him.
Doesn't hurt that he had a whole video dedicated to him as well. Let's be fair.
And it was by far one of the best ones as well. Like, I love the idea. He's essentially Wally with a gun and PTSD, and that's adorable and amazing.
He is entirely adorable, yeah.
So
I think it's fairly predictable as well that Overwatch should feature so highly, and that it has been not only a game that's been big generally this year, aka Game of the Year, but also, you know, we've been playing quite a lot of it, and we love games that we get to play together, especially 6-people teams. The amount of times that we've sort of got the full team of 6 people we know. So I'm not surprised to see a lot of our favourite new characters in the list.
Yeah.
Mine would be tough to pick, and so I've kind of got a draw, and mine would be Winston from Overwatch, only because initially I thought when I saw the trailer that he would not be the type of character I'd want to play and I wouldn't enjoy him, but I love nothing more than starting a game with Winston and whipping out my my monkey emote. I love it. I love it.
Through the power
And
of science.
yeah, his little giggle and everything else. I think, and he's a scientist, and so I can yell for science when I'm attacking people and everything else. So I really enjoy playing him. So it's not even just the character they've created; it's my enjoyment playing him and everything. But it is really tough to separate that from my enjoyment of playing Firewatch this year. It was far and above such a massive standout for me. Even the fact that, you know, I finished a game in my first sitting of playing it. I just was entirely absorbed by the game, and that was because of the characters that they created, who you never see. And what's the best part of it? They've created characters that you think of yourself, you create yourself. Their sort of voice acting does contribute to it, but it's your imagination and you know, your experiences that make those characters. So I think it would be hard pressed for me to look past them as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think
Honourable mention to the llamas in Minecraft because they're freaking awesome.
Amazing.
maybe they need to flesh out their
and
characters
also-
a bit more.
Yeah, and Gore in Armello, who is basically I am Groot.
Yeah.
The bear. And, you know, just because I play so much Armello, so, you know, an Armello character has to be on the list.
Yeah.
It would have been Sargon, but he's too creepy.
Yeah, he's super creepy. I actually think they need to do more with those Armello characters. They're writing some books or something, aren't they? I'm sure I heard that. Doing something to flesh out the world a little bit more. They need to do that. There's a lot of untapped potential.
There's a lot of
there.
fan-created stuff out there. And it's getting more and more, and they release sort of fan art of the week kind of thing and that sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if full lore and maybe some more cinematics come as the game grows. But it's one of those games that you have the base game and you'll buy the DLC and the story will grow and develop, I suspect.
For sure. All right, well, next up we've got our favourite moment or sequence for the year. So a lot of cool stuff happened this year in different games and bits and pieces. So, you know, from things like the Resident Evil 7 demo, which was recently a big thing. You also had, of course, the Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge in Overwatch, which was a really cool sequence that we quite enjoyed. Inside became very well known this year for a particular sort of sequence towards the end of the game, so the final part of that.
Thanks, Akira.
Yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff in there. You know, there's some great moments in Firewatch. You know, World of Warcraft has a few key ones from the Legion expansion as well. Lots of bits and pieces. So I think we've got a wealth of different moments to choose from with this category. So really keen to see what you guys are thinking about. So Ollie, you can kick us off for this one. What was your favourite moment or sequence this year?
Sure. For me, my favourite moment or sequence would have to be the Dead Rising trailer.
Ooh.
So, reason for that is I love the PT Silent Hills demo 2 bits. Loved it. And then my heart was broken when it got cancelled. Then this trailer dropped and suddenly it was like, yay! It's like mini horror game Christmas all over again. It was wonderful. So that was probably for me one of my favourite moments, was seeing that trailer and then seeing a follow-up trailer for it and just picking it to pieces and over-analysing it, because that's what a nerd brain does. And just getting stupidly excited for it. And then close-up follow-up for that for me was the Resident Evil 7 demo, because that was also quite fun. Didn't feel very Resident Evil-y, felt more Silent Hills-y. and the Dishonored 2 intro cutscene, because that scene is really freaking cool. Essentially, because at the end of the first game, you're fully powered up as your main character is Corvo. And so the beginning of this second game, he's still got all those powers and whatnot. And in that cutscene, he uses all those powers. So he basically looks like he's teleporting all around this room, murdering people. And someone actually slowed it down, and frame by frame, you can actually see him doing all the things.
Ooh.
That he, like all his powers and stuff. He's just doing them super fast.
Nice.
And you never really appreciate that in the first game because it's always first person. But then you get to see it from an outside perspective, and you're like, wow, that's actually terrifying. But yes, for me, Dead Rising trailers, announcement, yep, that's my favourite. It's one of the few game moments that made me squeal like a fangirl.
Sweet. I do enjoy seeing you
says
like
it all.
that. It's fun to watch, yeah.
It's very rare. It's very rare.
Which is why it's more fun to watch. it's great.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, Mimo, what about you? What's your fave?
Oh, again, really tough to choose because there's two that really got me this year. Firewatch, I've already mentioned. There's some great moments in it where I wasn't sure if this was going to be a game that I would enjoy, and I thought it started taking a really creepy turn, and I started actually getting genuinely terrified, and again, the game was not doing anything other than telling me a story, and I was using my own imagination. So for me, that was kind of cool. So not a particular scene at all, but just basically the way that it was telling the story, the way that it does things, so its general sequence. But to be honest, as a long-term World of Warcraft player, the opening cinematic trailer as well as the sort of beginning of the game, which is the assault on the Broken Shore that you play through with hundreds of people who are doing the same thing, Alliance, Horde, everybody together, witnessing the brutal death of one of the sort of central characters in the Warcraft universe. I can't go past it. It was insane, and I had the most fun, and it was hectic, and there was people everywhere, and you weren't sure if you were supposed to be making a difference or not, or whether it was just a rolling cinematic that you were just kind of part of, and it was just insane and so well done, and such a massive kickstart to getting back into it, because to be honest, the previous expansion really just kind of fizzled into a beginning, and you kind of just felt lost, but this one going through with so many people at once, like an instanced, and everything that they do in the beginning of that expansion is amazing. So the introduction to the Broken Shore was by far my favourite moment.
It really puts you in the shit from the get-go.
Oh my goodness, it was huge, and then Horde are on one side and Alliance are on the other, and it's depending on how much damage you are doing to this absolutely epic being, when you're fighting them off, the Horde could win them or the Alliance couldn't. Oh gosh, it was so good, and one of the first times that they really broke down the whole Horde versus Alliance back down to what you would have seen in the Warcraft movies, which is the forming of the Alliance in the beginning, where everybody was for themselves basically against a common evil. So kind of cool,
and we got to play it together, which was cool
really,
too.
We got to play it all together, and Simon was like, I don't know what's happening. He's very freaked out. Like, where are we going? And there was just name tags everywhere because, of course, I've got my Warcraft to bring up, net people's names. And there was, DPS monitors everywhere. And it was insane. I've never seen so many numbers appear on my screen before. And it was just, it felt like I was part, it's just a cinematic and everybody kind of did it. And, we would have, the result wasn't going to change. But I felt involved, and I felt like I landed on the Broken Shore, and I'm like, right, I'm going to go help the universe, and I'm part of this, and I am a hero. I'm not just somebody they say, hey, hero, come do this. You kind of felt part of it right from the beginning. So
yeah,
nailed it, Blizzard. Nice. Nailed it.
Nice. All right, so probably mention my favourite moment or sequence for the year, and again, this is a thing that you'll probably hear a little bit tonight. So there is one particular scene which was actually part of the trailer originally for Uncharted 4. And when you play this level in the game, it is every bit as good as, and then a whole bunch more as what you actually see in the trailer. So there's actually a really awesome chase scene, which is part of the level in, I think it's chapter 11 by memory, when you're in one of the cities in Madagascar, where basically you exit a huge cathedral, and as Nathan Drake, you have to basically have a huge gunfight across a marketplace, and then you're involved involved in a high-speed chase trying to chase down your brother Sam Drake. The chase consists of a whole bunch of different things. It's on cars, it's on motorcycles, you're getting dragged along for part of it, you're attached to a crane for another part of it, sort of swinging across, like shattering a wharf. It's almost like a scene out of Terminator 3 with the fire truck thing and that. But the whole thing is just non-stop adrenaline pumping action and so freaking amazing. Like that was my favorite part of the entire game, let alone my favorite action sequence. So it's a slam dunk for me. That is by far the best one I've seen this year. It is one that I'll remember for a long, long time. So yeah, highly recommend. And you can find that one pretty easily online too. So if you're not planning on playing the game necessarily, but you'd want to sort of check out one of the coolest parts of Uncharted 4, do a search for, the search term that will probably come up most commonly would be Sam Chase in Uncharted 4, and you'll find that. It's worth watching. It's so super cool. So there you go.
Agreed.
All right, Jan, what was yours favorite moment or sequence?
I had trouble picking this one, again, because I didn't do as many single-player bits and pieces, story-driven stuff, but a couple of things that stood out for me. One was loading up Civ 6 for the first time with the opening cinematic and Sean Bean's amazing voiceover, and I think just the waves of nostalgia that hit me at getting to play this amazing game again. That was definitely a standout. And I really enjoyed the Division and creating a unit for the first time and entering the DZ. That feeling of going into this no man's land and not knowing what was going to happen and having, especially just in the very early days when, you know, a lot of the issues weren't known yet and no one was just dramatically out-leveling you. It was intense. There was so much tension. You're like running around trying to clear things and saying, oh, there's someone there. Are they friend or they foe? Quick, we've got to get to the helicopter. Oh, someone's there already. Do we risk it? Really good fun.
The game does very well at crafting that feeling of isolation when you go in there, I think.
Yeah, and figuring out that I could break the baubles in the shopping centre. The glee that I felt.
Game of the year.
That was just hilarious. So yeah, that'd be my moments.
All right. Well, if you had to pick between Civ and Division, which one would you put on top? Kill your darlings.
No, I mean, I wouldn't.
That's the game jam. You got to pick one.
No.
She's breaking the rules,
it's
man.
not.
She's outside the box.
All right. I'll pressure you later. All right. Over to you anyway, Jam. What's next?
The next is favourite visuals. So a game that had interesting visual themes or was graphically designed or animated really well. We had a bunch for this one that made the not-so-short list, such as Inside, which was super spooky, awesome, intense. The Witness, which I adored. It was gorgeous. And Firewatch 2, which I haven't played so much, but, I mean, you know, as you guys have said, it's pretty spectacular. Uncharted 4 and Final Fantasy 15 for their more epic, large-scale bits and pieces. Abzu, which sounds adorable. Dark Souls 3 and Dishonored 2. Overwatch for their overall bits and pieces. The Division, Darkest Dungeon, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. They've all got either some pretty outstanding or pretty unique visual themes. So, Imogen, did you want to go first?
Oh, gosh, sure. Well,
That's the sound of someone saying yes.
The TLDR of today's episode and next week's episode is going to be Firewatch for Mimo. But basically, the visuals for Firewatch don't win out in this category. I still think they're great and I still think they're noted, but there's so many other things that sort of overtook it this year. And I think that the visuals, you know, weren't particularly my art style either. They were very pretty and I think the game was done well, but for me it was the voice acting and the story that kind of caught me in the game rather than the visuals. Darkest Dungeon, which was one of our party games of the month, was so cool. I really, really liked the art style of that. But my favourite visuals has to go to Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've only played a very, very small amount of this game, but it is amazing. The hair physics alone win this category. It's just so beautiful. And and it's so seamless. The way that it skips between sort of cutscenes and sort of provided dialogue along with you playing the game, and the way that it all rolls together, just really beautiful. And I constantly found myself like walking into caverns and just, wow, like this is amazing. This looks great. The use of fauna and flora in the game to climb and everything. Again, everything's fairly seamless, even though climbing points have the same sort of indicators. It worked well. The visuals sort of blended it in well. So by far favourite visuals has to be Rise of the Tomb Raider for me.
Awesome. Ollie?
All right. So I'm a visual graphic whore. So I did not vote for the most photorealistic graphic of games for this one. So for me, Dark Souls 3 wins this one.
Oh, really?
So, and it's a combination of things. So one, it's the graphics themselves are actually fairly high end. They're not the best of the best, but they're fairly high end. They look good, like all the effects and the render, the polygons and the pixels and all that important stuff. But on top of that, the environment design for Dark Souls 3, holy shit. Like, the sheer scale of the world you're traveling in is nuts. Absolutely insane. And the actual distinct visual style of everything is so gorgeously gothically eldritchy. It's brilliant. That's a phrase and a half. The other thing is the creature design. The creature design is some of the most disturbingly unique creature design. And I say creature, I mean just all the baddies and whatnot. And it just works so good as a whole. They've just refined it more and more and more each game. And yeah, Dark Souls 3 for me wins the visual categories. Abzu came very close because Abzu had a nice simplicity thing, and the engine to power thousands of individually animated fish is quite scary. Tomb Raider as well was really cool. Dishonored 2 was pretty good because I like its slightly stylized graphics. Like, it has a distinct style to it that I quite enjoy. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 for me gets my vote for being a complete package. The animations aren't the best, but everything else is pretty good. So
that surprises me. I didn't think you'd pick that one. That's cool.
I like my grim dark.
Yeah. I actually agonised over this one because I've got probably about 5 that I was torn between for quite a while. Rise of the Tomb Raider was one of them too. And in case anyone's wondering, yes, the game did originally come out in 2015, but the PC release was in January 2016. So suck it. it's in this year.
I played it this year, so
yeah, exactly. So technically, it still fits. Yeah, look, probably the 3 that I really consider this between for me personally was Firewatch, again, for reasons that we've discussed already. I think in particular the fact that the graphics are so good in that game that they've got an in-game feature where you can take photos and actually send them away to be printed and posted to you. It does say something. The Witness, for me, as well, because that game is entirely visual. Like, it doesn't work without it being as good visually as it is. And the visual nature of the puzzles and the clever ways they've used the environment to actually do some of the hidden stuff, that just blew me the fuck away when I first played that game. That was just incredible. But for me, I think the thing that has to win out overall, just for consistency and variety and the way that the visuals blend with the action, as well as the stunning vistas and backdrops throughout the entire game, it's got to be Uncharted 4. It just... yeah, that game is just a visual feast. It is spectacular. Cannot say enough about it. So yeah, Uncharted 4 for me is my pick for favourite visuals. There you go.
See, I think that would be rather up there for me had I played it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you will at some point. So I'll not tell you anything about the rest of the game because you will love it. Yep.
The only reason I picked Dark Souls 3 over that is because I like the fantasy element more than I like the realistic element.
Well, my top pick's different. I had a couple of runners up too. The Witness for the same reason as Luke. The way that the gorgeously delightful environment sort of played into this meta puzzle was phenomenal, and it was just a delight to walk around. And The Division, I just remember being stunned by the way it genuinely looked like a city that had collapsed suddenly. And some of the environmental effects, the snowdrifts are just, so cool. But for me, by far and away, my favourite visually impressive game is Overwatch. I think the game has done such a remarkable job of not only making incredibly designed levels that are themed, they each have their own flavour and style, to incredibly designed characters who are each unique and whole and aren't heavily influenced by each other, to all of the visual effects that they tie into the game. It's just amazing, and it's so consistently good. It's so wonderful to watch, and the videos that have come out of the game, just the cinematics they've created, have been stunning. I don't know if that counts towards this topic.
It's a tough call, actually, because it's like, just come on, Blizzard, hurry up and release a movie already.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of that...
Warcraft doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it this year.
a lot of that quality sort of cinematic stuff, even though they've released a lot of them separately to the game, they have got a little bit of that in the intro to the game when you first load it up as well, to the same quality. So I think it's fair.
And it's all based on in-game content too, ultimately. Like, these are characters... like, you can see the characters' histories in the way that they've been designed, or the levels that relate to their character, like Volskaya for Zarya. You can see the story in a game that really, as you're playing it, doesn't have a lot of story to it. You can feel the richness of the backgrounds and the story in the visual cues. It's just stunning, and it just works so well. I didn't think I'd get as attached to such a large range of characters or different levels as I have, but I really am, because it's always interesting. I can't think of any boring bits offhand. Like, can you think of a single level that is genuinely boring to look at or maneuver around in? It's just so well made.
Probably not.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
I
my
definitely
pick.
have my least favourites, but they're not boring. They're all very beautiful.
My least favourites are usually because I just play poorly on them. It's just me.
Yeah, agreed.
That's
yeah.
fair. That is fair.
And all of the little emotes and everything, it's just adorable.
Alrighty, and last but not least is our favourite audio category. So this does not necessarily mean just soundtrack. This can also be overall sound design. This could be voice acting or voiceovers and any particular lines or anything like that. So it's a fairly broad category, and it has to do with everything audio-based, hence the name. So let's go with Mimo. What's your pick for favourite audio for 2016?
I'm going to just go with a straight pick. I think there's a couple of things that are good audio this year. There's also a couple of good things I played this year, which were not games in this year, so I did not pick them, unfortunately. But overall, my favourite audio has to be Overwatch. The high noons, the emotes, the conversations that the characters have when you're waiting for games to load. It's such a nice touch, and even when you're in the load screen for the game, getting all pumped up, you feel like you're a hero. You feel like you're going into an action movie. So for me, it's a tough category because voice acting is a thing as well as general music. But I have to say it's going to have to be Overwatch. +1 for Matt Mercer voice acting.
I'm gonna muscle in and double up on that one because that's my pick
Double
too.
down.
Yep. I love
So
the way
good.
that the ultimate voice cues change depending on whether it's same team, other team. I love the way that people's abilities create distinct sound effects that you can tell even without, if they're not in your field of vision, you know what's going on nearby just from the sound of things. And everyone.
Yeah, when you hear nerf this, run. Run.
And the voice lines, like you said, for the characters, they just make them that much richer with their cheekiness and silliness or seriousness. It's just another flavour to these amazing characters that they've created.
I must admit, the number of times we've all been online playing a game together and we've all heard that it's high noon, and all of us just shat ourselves and gone,
Oh God, he's nooting, run,
Yeah.
noot, hide.
yep.
It's high noots.
The reaction that elicits is just phenomenal. It's great.
Also,
Yeah, it's amazing.
justice reigns from above, and you're like, oh man, I got justice.
Yep. Yep.
Or angry
umbrella
monkey,
today.
angry monkey. Run. It's so good. They've done it so well.
Yeah.
And it's provided them with a wealth of, internet coverage far and beyond the actual game because people are using, them in their memes and everything else. So
Great
there you
audio.
go. It's well done.
All right, Luke, what about you?
I'm going to make a sneaky little prediction that you and I might be on the same page with this one, Ollie. So
Probably not, but okay.
Okay, all right. Well, you can prove me wrong, but mine is without a doubt the music in Doom. So Doom is a fucking amazing game, and a big part of that for me was because of the really hard smash-a-thon music throughout that entire thing. So, I'm a big fan of metal in general, and some of the music of the harder and harsher variety, and Doom speaks to my inner rage child, because that game brings it all out of you when you're running down corridors and machine gunning and chainsawing apart demons. So, yep, it evoked the exact atmosphere I wanted, and loved the hell out of the audio in that game. Doom is my pick for sure. There you go.
Okay. I will finish mine off by proving Luke wrong. I'm cool like that. For me, it is The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine expansion.
Yeah.
So, reason for this is The Witcher 3 has a bonkers good soundtrack, bonkers good monster sound design. So every monster sounds unique. It sounds visceral. It sounds real. The overall sound quality of all the weapons and the armor, hell, even the way everyone the language, the way everyone speaks is very unique and distinct between characters and even areas in the game. And it's just a complete sound package. Very close for me for this was the Resident Evil 7 trailer demo, because that had a really nice soundscape, not soundtrack, but soundscape, and Doom was up there as well for that as well. And I guess we should make a shout out to Battlefield 1 for having some creepily accurate because I was in World War One, you see, I know exactly what it sounds like. Creepily good sound recordings of all the weapons and the sound of bullets whizzing past your head.
It's that soundscapes thing again, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, Ollie, for real though, how close did Thumper come for you? Was that in consideration?
Had it been more of a complete package, it would have been up there.
Yeah.
If I just went by pure soundtrack alone, it would have won.
Yeah.
And then Doom would be second. But because Witcher 3, that DLC gave me overall soundscape, I had to give it to that.
Yeah.
Because every part of that is really well done.
That's fair.
Like, I love playing the Witcher games because of how they sound.
Nice. All right. Well,
Also because they're good games.
That's a pretty good set of favourites for this week. So, favourite visuals, favourite audio, best favourite moment and sequence, and favourite new character. So we'll be back next week to chat about our favourite, our biggest surprise, our favourite game mechanic and feature, our favourite party game from Party Game of the Month segments, and favourite game of the year. So come back next week, stay tuned, and we'll wrap out the year with another dose of heavy nostalgia for the best of 2016. Talking about all this stuff tonight has made me realise that I want to cram more games into my Christmas period. Just there's a bunch of stuff I still haven't finished. Witcher 3's one that I definitely need to get back to. I really want to play the Souls games. I'll probably start with 3, to be fair. Oh my god, so many things to do. I might have to go and break something else so that I can be off my feet and play more games for a while longer. I don't know. That might work.
Wow.
Not that I had to break anything.
Now we know why
to
he's
play
actually...
games.
Yeah.
Just hurt myself to play games. There's got to be a name for that kind of condition, right? Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I didn't want to say it.
All right, well, heading up to the silly season. We're all sort of getting ready to wrap up work before too long. Next episode will be our final episode of the year. We're taking a short break into the new year, so we can go off and do family things and you know, be normal for a little bit, maybe? I don't know, probably not. I don't know. What are you guys planning on playing in the next week or so, at the very least? Anything you're sinking some more time into? Jem, are we going to have to like have a Minecraft intervention for you, or is that going to be okay?
No, never an intervention. I won't even show up. Some Overwatch on top of Minecraft, no doubt. I don't know.
Ollie, chances of
Just whatever
finishing
comes
Dishonored
along.
between now and next week?
Yes. Strong. Very strong.
Okay, interesting. And Mimo, how's the Ori progress going? You attack that at all this week?
No,
That's just mean.
because Minecraft happened and also life.
No.
But
Mostly Minecraft.
mostly life. And I'm not going to be able to play any games until Monday or something ridiculous now. But
No.
I want to concentrate on getting placed in Overwatch so that I can get that nightmare out of the way and start playing fun games again.
Wow.
Yeah, each
For the
kid-
loot box. For the loot box.
For the loots.
Well, we can go and have
Yep.
a snowball fight tonight to get you in the mood if you like. But if you want to drop us some notes and let us know what your favourites are in each of the categories we've discussed tonight, you can do so at all the usual places. So mail us at mail@partyloaded.com, Twitter at partyloadedshow, Facebook we are partyloaded, and on Instagram we are at partyloaded as well. And check us out on iTunes too. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a positive review. We'd really greatly appreciate it. And that is pretty much a show. So thanks everybody for putting the time into picking your favourites, and look forward to discussing the next set next week. But until next time, that's a wrap. Good night, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.